Hey Bears fans, I'm Juju Phillips, voice of the Bears.
And I'm Ian Shields, head football coach, Lenoir-Rhyne Bears.
Lenoir-Rhyne football has a proud tradition of football excellence, and we're excited for this 2014 season with new players, new coaches, and new expectations.
Join us Saturdays this fall and celebrate 50 years of football between the bricks as the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears go in search of our 4th straight South Atlantic Conference championship.
Come watch the Bears attack and take charge in 2014.
Touchdown, Lenoir-Rhyne.
You're watching the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears Football Weekly Press Luncheon with head football coach Ian Shields.
Thank you, John. Like John said, good win for us last week, going against a tough Virginia State squad on the road. It was a good test for us, a good bit of travel for us, something we hadn't done yet, and came on top 33-6. Virginia State is a tough physical team. That game was closer than the score indicated. The Trojans up there have a formidable team, very big, physical, fast. We had our hands full with them, quite frankly, for most of the contest. I thought, in particular, our defense played exceptionally well. Anytime you hold someone under 300 yards in college football today, you're doing some pretty special things. Our defensive staff and our players executed the game plan, put together a heck of a game plan, and executed it very well. Blake Baker played exceptionally up front, and that's probably a broken record, but he sets the tone for us once again up front. Chris Green really stood out, not only defensively, but Chris Green also had 2 block kicks, which really helped us certainly get them off the field in critical situations, being sure there were points not put on the scoreboard there. Our secondary played exceptionally well across the board, but Joe Anderson continues to be a stalwart out there. He has 6 pass breakups on the season. He also had an interception at the end of the game and returned it for a touchdown. He's a playmaker. He's savvy. And O'Neal Blake played great on the other side. We have 2 excellent corners. And they'll need to continue to play well because we have a heck of a challenge going forward this week in Wingate. Our safeties play well. I thought Marcus Kincaid took a real step forward in his play from the opener. He hadn't played in a while. Game 2, he settled down and was flying around, and he won our Ronnie Lott Heavy Hitter of the Week award with a big shot over the middle on one of their receivers. Chris Schaefer played well again at safety. So we're fortunate. All 4 of our secondary players are playing at a high level, and like I said, they're going to need to continue that trend and keep the arrow pointed up. Tanner Botts played great at inside linebacker. We expect that from Tanner as an all-conference player, and he's really the emotional leader of our defense, and he has a ton of game reps, obviously, here in the SAC conference. Kicking game, I think what gets lost sometimes is the kicking game. I thought we performed well. We made 2 field goals. Justin Powell did well. The battery, the operation time was good. Protection was excellent up front by the big guys up front, and we thought that might be a challenge against Virginia State, so we held up well there. Like I said, we had 2 blocks. Defensively, we had 2 blocks there. We had a punt down inside the 20. We also had over a 50-yard return by Griff, which was huge. Anytime you get a game-breaking performance like that, and that was a well-blocked return. We had another well-blocked return that could have went big. We just missed the hole a little bit. So I think we're doing well, and we're improving in the kicking game. And as we move forward, that's going to be critical to our success. I thought offensively, in the first half, credit Virginia State. They showed up a little bit differently than we anticipated. I think our guys were off track. I thought they played hard. I thought assignment-wise they were sound for the most part, but I thought the execution left a lot to be desired in the first half. It was a pretty sloppy and raggedy performance offensively in the first half of that contest. Well, at least the first 1.5. The last drive of the first half was the only redeeming drive offensively, where we put something together. And that was big, getting some momentum going into halftime. That was a big drive, and putting points on the board there. So if you'd asked me about the execution of our offense in the first half, to steal a line from John McKay, the old Tampa Bay Buccaneer coach, I'd have been all for it. But we adjusted well, I thought, at halftime. We settled down. Like I said, right before halftime, we actually settled down. But then we got our sights set on what they were doing, made some adjustments. And the second half controlled the line of scrimmage. I thought Coach seen we had the offensive line coming off the ball. Some guys played particularly well. Joe Ray played exceptionally at right tackle. Matt Vlandy played much better at right guard. Jacob Slagle had his best game at left tackle. And I'll say Virginia State, the nose guard Virginia State had, their 2 inside linebackers were dang good football players. They're about as good as we'll see, I would guess, throughout the season. So our hats off to Virginia State. I thought they played pretty dang well up front defensively against us. We had the ball on the ground twice in the first half. That stopped 2 drives, obviously. One, we're going in to score, and we drop a pitch right in our hands, it's probably a touchdown. We have some different backs going in with Ike Whitaker being out. Shuffled the rotation for us a little bit. Losing Ike hurts us. We have some other good backs that need to step up, and in the second half they did. I thought Chris Robinson did a remarkable job for his, for extended playing time to rush for 145 yards on 18 carries. That's a pretty good day's work at B-back for us. Mike Patrick continues to swing back between B-back and our slot position, the C-back. And Mike's one of our better football players, and we need to find some more ways to get him involved because he's excellent with the ball in his hands. You can see that on his last touchdown run. He's a special player, no matter what position he's playing at between the two. So he gives us some flexibility there. Like I said, I think it was a great team win for us. That's a game when we scheduled it, we're like raised with an eyebrow, like, boy, might be biting off more than we chew. Go up to Virginia State, a team was 9-1 a year ago. And it was a great out-of-conference opponent for us. And I think Coach Scott does an exceptional job with that team at Virginia State. And that was a first-class organization operation on their game day, Military Appreciation Day. That was fun for our players and our program and our fans that traveled up there. So we'd like to keep that relationship going with Virginia State if possible. I think we have them on the schedule again in 2 years. So we'll have them here then. Transitioning forward to Wingate, obviously starting conference play. Wingate's playing very well. They're 2-0. They've really gotten after their first 2 opponents. I mean, they shut out their last opponent defensively. They had an excellent day offensively. They really outclassed their first 2 opponents, and they're playing well. I think they're extremely fundamentally sound. I think they're exceptionally well coached by Coach Reich and his staff. They will not beat themselves. They do the right things in all phases of the game, including the kicking game. I think they're very solid. I think they're, just based on looking at the film from a year ago and looking, I think they're improved. I think they have a lot of experience. Certainly looking at their defensive side of the front. Their 2 defensive ends are excellent. Number 9, I'm going to butcher his name, Napolitano, I believe, and Jacobs, the other defensive end, are all conference guys. They have 5 or 6 senior starters on that defense. They're physical. They're big. They're 2 inside guys. They're both 280 plus inside, and they're going to be it'll be a challenge for us up front, and we'll have to execute at a high level offensively. Looking at their offense, I think they're getting excellent play out of their young quarterback. Johnson's a Hickory native, as everyone in this room knows. He's a tremendous talent. He's growing in their system, and he's adding some things to their arsenal with his legs. He can pull the ball down on their zone reads, and he has good legs. And we'll have to account for him as a runner as well as obviously trying to defend the pass. They threw the ball over 40 times. They threw the ball more last week than we might all season. And they did it well. They threw for close to 350 yards, I believe. I might be off a couple yards, but they're also running the ball well. They're running 3 or 4 backs through there. They have a stable of backs that are doing well, and they're blocking well for them in their first 2 contests, and they look to be committed to running the football with those guys. They got excellent receivers. Like I said, they're well coached. They have good schemes. Every phase of the game. We don't know what to anticipate as far as what they're going to play against us, looking through their history of option opponents. So for us, offensively, as it is nearly every week, it's a cumulative exam and practice, all week getting ready for a little bit of everything, and then we show up on Saturday and try and make the necessary adjustments. So we'll need to do a better job offensively, certainly, of making the adjustments in a more rapid fashion. Starting with the first series instead of waiting until the second quarter. If we don't improve greatly there, then it could be a long day for us Saturday over at Wingate. but it's going to be a heck of a contest. We're looking forward to it. They run a first-class program, and we're looking forward to getting over there and engaging them in a spirit of competition. With that being said, if there's any questions regarding last week's Virginia State game or this coming game against Wingate, I'd be happy to take those.
Coach, continuing on the same theme that you were going there, I wonder if you could kind of expound. Lenoir-Rhyne's won 3 straight conference championships. This is the conference opener.
Well, we try not to reflect too much in the past because we're trying to stay in the present. The most important game all season is the one we have this week. It's the only one on our schedule this week. We know that we have an excellent recent tradition of football, but we also know Wingate's a proud program as well, and Coach Reich's done a tremendous job with that program. So right now we're both 2-0 in this year, and it'd be great to end up be 1-0 in conference, and both teams aspire to do so by the end of Saturday night. So, you know, we think we have a good football team, but I think we'll know more about our team at the completion of these next 4 quarters against Wingate.
Can you talk about your secondary matching up with their receiving core?
Yeah, I think it'll be a telltale. It'll be one of the keys to the game. I think they're talented. They do a lot of things scheme-wise that are challenging. We do have when we talk about our corners, I think we have a lot of experience there, and I think Joe and O'Neal are excellent corners, and I think we match up favorably with everyone in our conference and around the country with those 2 guys. And I think our safety play, although inexperienced to a degree, I think we have some good players there. But they'll need to be at their best this Saturday. We'll be challenged. We're going to be challenged like we haven't been challenged yet by Wingate. They do a nice job offensively. They'll scheme you, and they have the talent to do so. And like I said, they've also, you know, shown the ability to run the football, which makes it you know, a dangerous proposition. If they can get all that going, then like I said, we'll have our hands full with them.
There are 2 bots on the field most of the time. Tanner gets a lot of the recognition, but Tyler made some key plays Saturday.
He really did. He did. Tyler played well. You know, we have some good depth at the linebacker position outside of Tanner. When you look at Stephen Amwa, and Jordan Forney is really coming on as an excellent player. So we have some depth developing there with the emergence of Jordan. But I do think Tyler played exceptionally well last week. He played, I would say, improved from where he was at through training camp and in the first game against Point. So. Those guys play well together. You know, they've grown up all their lives together. I think they complement each other well. But Tyler doesn't need to take much of a back seat. You know, it's funny when you talk about him in lacrosse, it's just the other way around. They're out there playing lacrosse. You know, Tyler's the star and Tanner's the other guy. So I don't know if they just plan that or what. But we're fortunate to have them both, and they're both going to be a key, obviously, to our success here moving forward.
You talked about Ike not playing, but he was in on every play. It seemed like our kids always seem to have this trait that if they're not playing dressed or not dressed, they're paying attention. They're in the game. Then when the offense came off the field, he's an extra coach. Yeah,
Ike's well, he was voted team captain by his peers for a reason. You know, he has the voice that they listen to. He has great command. We don't know for how long Ike is out. We just don't know enough yet, and I couldn't comment, have an educated comment on that right now. We'll know more here shortly, but I suspect he's out for the time being. With him being out, I was proud of how the guy stepped up in his absence, but you're right. He is a tremendous leader, and you don't lose an All-American fullback and not take a hit somewhere. And in his case, it's a double hit because that leadership ability on the field is missed as well. All that being said, he's still a tremendous leader for this football team. You could see him on the sideline. He's an extra coach over there for us. He has the right voice. He knows what to say over there, and he's still a great leader for our team, and will continue to be no matter the circumstance with his injury.
Can you say the nature of his injury, or at least what part of his body's affected?
I would say it's a lower extremity issue.
In the game this past Saturday, everybody makes adjustments at halftime. They seem to come out going to the flat, trying to get 20 involved more, and he was effective for a little bit from what they did in the first half to what they did in the second half.
Virginia State. Yeah, one time they hit a big play, and our outside linebacker blew the coverage, so he goes free, and they get the one big play they had in the pass game to him was a 60-yarder or whatever it was, with just a blown coverage, and that's gonna you don't want to say that's gonna happen, but from time when you do blow coverage, and they're good enough to take advantage of it, then they will, and they did. But I thought we adjusted well. Other than that, anytime your defense outscores the other team's offense, it's a good day at the office, certainly. So, and we did that. So, you tip their hat. Virginia State has some good players, and particularly that's a first-year starter at quarterback. They're doing it with some new guys, some new running backs as well. I thought they probably found their running back against us. But I was really impressed with how they played on their defensive side of the ball. I thought they had an excellent game plan. Their defensive coordinator, I believe Coach Holmes, had an excellent game plan. And they were formidable up front. That nose guard is a big, physical, athletic guy. And I thought those two linebackers, they could be playing for a lot of people around the country at a lot of different levels. Those 45 and 10, those two inside linebackers they had were pretty salty players.
Let me just throw this at you this way. As far as, conference opener, is that special?
Well, I think so. I mean, obviously it's the first go-round for a lot of us. But, that's our goal at the end of the season, to be the SAC conference champion. But the only way to get there is to keep your head down and stay in the moment and be 1-0 this week. So, that's our goal, to end up each week undefeated. Undefeated this week. Be 1-0, beat Wingate, and that's our focus. And if we can keep our focus there and play better, we'll have to execute better this week than we did last week. Certainly in respect to our offensive side of the ball. So, we have our bar set pretty high here at LR. We need to continue to set it high, and we need to improve. If we don't, then we won't like the alternative. So. That's the goal. We got a great week of practice this afternoon on Wednesday. Get ready to travel over there Saturday morning. Get ready for a heck of a fight against Wingate. Well, thank you. It's not that far a drive. Hopefully, all the Bear Nation travels over there to Wingate. We have a great crowd over there. It's going to be a fun Saturday afternoon, and we expect a heck of a contest against the Bulldogs.